Hello friends, what's up? I hope your day's going great. This video, I'm not really sure what drove me to want to do this video, but one day there were a couple of things that I wanted to get off of Ulta's website, and then I started looking at some of those products that I remember using maybe really early on in my makeup routine. I'm talking like back in the beginning, maybe the junior high school years. Some of those classic products such as like CoverGirl Clean Makeup, Great Lash Mascara, anyone? Some of these products that are still kicking today, that are still being sold. And I thought, I wonder what it would be like to challenge myself to create like a full glam look, like really go there with these products, kind of create maybe the type of look I might really enjoy with more current products, but do it with those things and really evaluate how they're working for me. So that's what we're gonna do. Got a thermal on, it feels nice to be wearing a thermal, and I am going to start off with my CoverGirl Clean Liquid Foundation. I'm moisturized, but I don't have a primer on. I never really did do primer back in the day because that just wasn't a thing for a long time. So I've got the shade, what is it? Oh, Creamy Natural. So we just screw off the top here. This smells like very strongly of Noxzema. I mean, like even stronger than I remember. Maybe I just haven't smelled any Noxzema in a while, but it's really hitting me over the head this morning. This is a really like traditional liquidy thin foundation, and I'm gonna dab it on all over and we'll look at the coverage we have. I was playing with some of these things yesterday, so I was sort of able to look at the way they wore on me too, and it wasn't too bad. I'm gonna use my Real Techniques Expert Face Brush, and I'm gonna pretty much shoot for a real decent coverage look today. It might not all come from my foundation, but I've got a concealer as well that will probably add to things. Oh, as I blend it out, I can't get over how strongly I'm smelling that Noxzema. It's amazing, really, that they've kept that element in this foundation for all these years. Okay, I did have kind of a glowy sunscreen underneath. I used my Supergoop Glow Screen, so I feel like things are looking a little bit more luminous, but it's a solid medium coverage here with this product. I think I am gonna add just a little bit more just to see, because yesterday I went really light with this, and I just like to see kind of how far it can go. So I'm adding a little more product just in these key areas where I look for more coverage. And I would also like to hear from those of you who are using this one on a daily basis. Like, let me know. And there are different varieties. I know there is a fragrance-free. Do they still make a fragrance-free of this? They always used to. And it was like the clean makeup was in the brownish packaging and the fragrance-free had a blue cap, I think. Okay, it actually is looking really pretty on the surface of the skin. Like not cakey at all, but the added coverage is there. I'm not disliking it, guys. Then I got one of these Maybelline cover sticks, and this is in the shade Light Beige, and this is one of like, when I think of the most way back when traditional stick concealers, this is what comes to mind. In a recent video, I was using the CoverGirl CG Smoothers concealer stick. I'll grab that out so you can see. That one looks like this. This is really, really smooth, like a soft, semi-hydrating concealer. Not maybe quite as hydrating as the Neutrogena Hydro Boost is, but still, those are both very creamy, nice quality concealer sticks. This one, guys, this one's a little more on the dry side. You can feel a little more drag across the skin. It wasn't available in like a ton of different shades. I'm really gonna go there with the product today. Like I want a very brightened look. I want to enhance the coverage. I'm gonna get around the nose, the chin, and I'm first going to approach it with my foundation brush, just to dab it in. And, you know, just going for that fully brightened effect that many of us really like to have, you know, with the different current makeup products we use. But we're gonna try to pull it off with something that maybe we had in junior high. Current look, older stuff. I don't know, it is producing some nice coverage. I'm gonna need to go in with a little smaller brush there in the inner corner, but it's meshing really beautifully with the foundation. It's not looking too thick, even though it felt kind of thick going across the skin. I'm not saying this is gonna like become my first choice concealer or anything, but it's not terrible. I think the packaging said something like covers everything or will cover anything. It's looking a little thick up close, looking a little thick right in this area, like the innermost corner of the eye. I can see some places where I have a little texture, and I think it definitely is clinging to that. Granted, I didn't go light with my application. Maybe keep kind of dabbing it and working it in. From right about this distance though, looking in the camera, I mean, man, the skin doesn't look too heavy. Next up, I want to use one of the first loose powders I think I ever remember using, and it's Maybelline Shine Free. Yep, this one's still around. How many other people use this? This is in the shade Light. I think in my earlier YouTube days, I definitely used the Shine Free Compact powder quite a bit, but this is the loose one. And using this one, it kind of makes me feel like maybe not a whole lot has changed in powders, really, loose powders over time. Because as I set my under eye, I'm feeling just so many similarities to so many other things, just at least in the appearance. So I'm trying to, you know, lock in some staying power here. I'm trying to get an even more perfected look. Did I say what shade it is? It's in Light. So I just kind of tap some in the cap here. I'll definitely hit the excuse me, T-zone as well. Just took a sip of coffee, so now I'm burping. It really is mattifying on contact though, because as you could see, I was pretty glowy. It's making me quite a bit more matte. And then guys, instead of one of the new butter bronzers from Physicians Formula, I went for this thing, which I know has been around a long, long time in their line. It's called Light Bronzer. It's the multicolored custom light bronzer. Something I actually really enjoy about this product is the fact that they did the mosaic thing that Physicians Formula likes to do. And I mean, do you remember some of the bronzers from way back where it was more like, it looked like a patchwork quilt, right? You had like dark shades just completely dotted in with the medium and the light, and it was all just kind of scrambled. Here, there's more of a logical fade where it goes dark to light, and that allows you to have some more control about how much darkness or lightness is in your bronzer. So if I want more of a bronzed look, I can concentrate my brush more over toward one side. And this isn't a super dark bronzer. Again, the name is Light Bronzer, but see how I can really make it work for me in that way? I like it. It's a nice texture. It's warming up the skin. If I want to go a little softer, I'll just swirl my brush over all of it. There is kind of like a satin finish to this if you look up really close. Check out my little cheekbone contour. See, we're going to try to do all the steps. All the steps. Really, I'm feeling quite good about this bronzer. This would be something I like to use more frequently. This, I think the loose powder, hopefully it's not looking too patchy, but I feel like I really warmed up the skin. And then for blush, here's something really that I haven't abandoned, you know, for some long period of time. It's old school. It's something I remember from way back in the day, but it's still something I love to this day. And this is the Instant Cheekbones blush from CoverGirl, and it's in the Sophisticated Sable shade. I also just love the plain old Cheekers blush, but here this will give us a highlight, which, I mean, outside of this kind of product, there really just wasn't a lot of highlighting happening with makeup back then. You know, it became a trend much later. So I'm going into that center shade. And it's going to be a really pretty kind of neutral blush. I just thought it would look really nice with the shirt I have on. Again, with a hint of a satin finish in these products. Doesn't it all just start to make sense once the blush goes on? You're like, okay, I'm gonna be able to really deal with this. All right, so I got that first shade. Then I might hop over to the slightly deeper shade that looks a little more rosy. And perhaps we just go a little lower on the cheek right there. Yep, that'll do. Nice. Love that. Okay, then we want to bounce over to our highlighter brush. And this shade is a legit, like, really pretty highlighter. And all of them come with some sort of shade like this. Somebody told me they thought they were getting rid of these, like discontinuing them. I hope not. See how pretty that is? That's every bit as vibrant and lively and bright as any highlight you might buy. Okay, if you got any extra on your brush, maybe you want to give a little glow up here, maybe a little glow on the Cupid's bow. So I bought this product, it's for brows and eyeliner, and it was something I actually remember my mom having. Like when I was a lot younger, and I remember seeing my mom's makeup stash, I always remember there being some kind of a red pencil in it. And it was something she used in her brows, and maybe for her it was fine, but she probably didn't have this dark brown shade, because I thought, okay, I'll need dark brown. I want to use it as my eyeliner, I want to use it as my brows. Well, I was looking at this the other day, and it is so warm. I mean, it really looks like an auburn color. Like it will not mesh with my cool, dark brunette eyebrows. So I am not going to be using that. I'm going to just find some other brow pencil here. I'll use something simple, the e.l.f. Instant Lift in neutral brown. I'll just go ahead and pop this in my brows real quick. And I am actually shooting this video on the morning of Belle's birthday. And yesterday was Sunday. I had her on a Sunday, and it was just so funny because yesterday seemed like such a similar day to the day that I gave birth to her, because I remember sitting around and, you know, we went through the whole morning at home, and it was midday. It was like 11 or 12 something. Football was just getting started for the day on TV, and I remember sitting on the couch, and then I again found myself in the same spot in the couch, and thinking, you know, that contractions were happening, and, you know, she was not induced. Belle just came on her own, and it was that Sunday afternoon, and by, I want to say between 1 and 2 o'clock, we were on our way to the hospital, and she came by a little after 8 that night. So we always think of, you know, the song, do you remember the 21st night of September? That was when Belle came. So today, being a Monday, you know, we do have remote learning at home. We have a school day, but we're going to have a party for her a little later on. Not like a huge party because, you know, pandemic and all, but we'll do a little more here down the road a bit. We may do a little combined thing with Bubba's birthday too. But we are going to have some cupcakes and a few gifts today, so. And we had a little date yesterday, her and I. We love visiting SIU, Southern Illinois University is where we're near, and they have a gorgeous lake with just tons of little places to walk and paths to explore and stuff, so we love visiting that. Ducks, there's always ducks to see there. Okay, brows are filled in. I'm going to use a little brow gel, nothing fancy here. Again, if I really wanted to be authentic to maybe some of the first stuff I ever used, I would be using the CoverGirl Clear Brow Gel. And then I am going to be putting on an eye primer. I'm trying to remember the first time I ever would have actually used an eye primer. I can't remember quite when that would have been, but I feel like it's going to benefit things in present day, so we're going to use Milani Eyeshadow Primer. I'm lowering my voice because I heard Bubba waking up, and it's like an hour before he usually wakes up, so I'm hoping he just tones down and chills. But normally when I talk about old school eyeshadow, we're talking about CoverGirl. I feel like it all goes back to Shimmering Sands. I've used that a lot on my channel, different throwback videos. But I realized in a Walmart order I was placing, they still have these from Maybelline. These are the Expert Wear eyeshadows, and this is the quad called Natural Smokes. Do you remember when they had those different smokes collections? There was like emerald and a purple one, maybe it was called amethyst or something. They had these different combos, and this was the natural one that had like kind of a dark warm brown, a taupe, a white shade, and a dark matte. And I thought, you know, let's just take that, which who has been talking about this anytime recently on YouTube? Let's use that in the look today. And did I say early on that this stuff came from Ulta? Because I meant a lot of it actually came from Walmart. I think I kind of had gotten the idea, maybe seeing a few things on Ulta, but most of this, like Walmart's a good place to look for some of these products from different lines that may not still be carried everywhere else. But okay, let's see. I feel like with this color range, like my darks are really dark, my light is very light. So I'm thinking, let's start with a flat brush and our matte color right here. It's just a matte, really cool brown. Really could have been a fine shade to fill in my eyebrows with. And I'm going to take this and pat it in the outer corner. And I'm kind of flipping it around as well to try to get it in the crease too. Because again, I'm wanting not just like a barely there look from these products, I'm really trying to do something glam, like an acceptable present day glam with products nobody talks about anymore. But you know some people have got to be buying this stuff, or else like clean makeup wouldn't still be on the market. CoverGirl clean makeup. Okay, now I'm taking my E25 now that I've got that in the outer corner. It applied pretty well. Like, I wouldn't say it was unpigmented or anything. And I'm using this brush just to really blend what I've put in the crease. And then, now that we've got something there, maybe I'll go to this warmer shade. It's like a super dark, kind of coppery brown. I'm going to get that in the crease as well. Thought my camera cut out on me there for a second, but I'm just getting that coppery shade sort of blended in the crease, letting it come up above a bit. Okay, it's looking nice and pretty smoky. There's maybe a hint more warmth visible in this shade as you start to blend it out. Then maybe we'll take some of that same color and now pat it a little bit inward on the lid. It's kind of crazy how the light shade is so much drastically lighter than everything else in here. And then I will go to a little bit of that just to have some kind of, you know, fade happening here in the inner corner. The look's kind of in a place right now where I'm feeling like, okay, it's fine. You know, I'm not wild about it. I feel like I'm gonna sneeze. I'm not like going gaga over this because, I don't know, the shades are just so basic. There's not gonna be like anything super interesting coming out of left field with this look, but I am gonna try to get it a little bit, you know, on the smoky side. It really is like a smoky eye quad here, using that dark matte brown and a pencil brush on the lower lash line. There we go. And then maybe go inward. Not that you'll see a lot of difference here, but go inward with that little bit warmer color. And I know I had and talked about these probably, you know, maybe not the earliest days on my channel, but fairly early. I'm just reinforcing a little bit of that dark matte right here. But it was, you know, a few years in on my channel. I remember having and discussing these. Okay, so I feel like we've got a nice darkened up outer corner. I've done pretty much everything I want to do with this eye look, just, you know, as far as the eyeshadow goes. Now, I would be taking this. I thought this was going to be more of a cool brown, and I thought I could use it as liner, use it as brow, but instead I'm going to just go for this black L'Oreal Infallible liner. I used this in another recent video, and I'm going to deepen up my lower inner rim because that just instantly makes it all real smoky, does it not? And then kind of smudge it in between the lashes. This isn't my like most favorite pencil liner, but it gets the job done. And then you can grab your smudge brush and really help that color smooth out there on the lower lash line. See that? Very nice. And I'll go ahead and use a little bit of this on my upper lash line too. Did anybody see Carrie Underwood's performance on the ACMs last week? She did like a medley of, gosh, it was Patsy Cline, it was Tammy Wynette, it was Dolly and Reba and Martina McBride. I mean, she was just singing some great, amazing hits. She was so flawless. You know it's a good performance when like days have passed and you're still thinking about it. Okay, so I've just got a little kind of light smudgy thing happening there on the upper lash line. I got some of this Great Lash Mascara, you guys. This is the curved brush. That's why it has a pink cap. I don't know why I went for curved brush. Maybe I just thought it would give me a little better luck than the other regular kind, but it's not like even really all that curved. I wanted to give this stuff another shot. I wore it yesterday. I wore it ahead of this video because I really wanted to see how it wore throughout the day, and it did pretty well without smudging. Some shadow that I had on the lower lash line smudged a bit yesterday, but this actually kind of held true to the lashes. One thing I did notice was that the formula seems drier than I remember. I always thought Great Lash was the biggest like oil slick sort of mascara, you know. I thought it was just super duper wet. It kind of just clumped my lashes together. It's got that old school really just spiraled around brush that sometimes isn't the best for separation, but I'm putting it on here and it just doesn't seem as wet as it once did. But I'm going to really try to work it in here, and I'm going to probably be spending a decent amount of time with this just trying to build it on itself and make it the most that it can be. I did get a little on the lash line here, a little sloppy. Great Lash is such an old product, but even more recently, it still gets like accolades. It still tends to get named as like a best mascara by different publications. What do people see in this stuff that they love so much? Granted, my experience with this one isn't as bad as I remember it being back in the day, but I'm certainly having to work with it to build up any kind of look on the eyes. I'm kind of just bouncing back and forth between the eyes because, you know, as it gets a little bit dry on one eye, it gets more buildable. So you go on with the next coat and it kind of accepts it a little bit better. I've basically built up 2 coats on each eye. It's looking like 1 coat from most, you know, mascaras I might like these days. I don't know, you guys. I'm really not sure how this one's surviving so long. And it's not even just like they keep around Great Lash. They keep around the curved brush version. They keep around, I think there's one called Big, or there's one that's got like a different shaped brush or something. Like how? I'm really not pleased with the length. The formula, like I said, not as annoying as it once was, but dang, like the lower lashes, I'm not really willing to risk that on the lower lashes. I just don't want to have a ton of smudges today, so I'm cheating here. I'm taking a tubing mascara that I know I can trust there. This is from Hourglass, and I'm just popping it on my lower lashes. Sorry, some things you just gotta do. As far as lashes go, when I really think back to some of the first lashes I ever tried working with, they were probably the Outer Corner Ardell, the little accent lashes. And I do have some of those, but they're the magnetic style, so I guess there's the modern twist on those. I am going to put those on, but the mascara is going to need to dry just a bit. So we're going to move on to lips. And I got a couple of these CoverGirl Continuous Color lipsticks. Probably the first actual lipstick I ever remember using was CoverGirl Continuous Color. So they still have these at Walmart. I got shade 770. This was some kind of a bronze color. I think both of these have shimmer, and I ordered them online, so I didn't really realize that. But there's the bronze shade, which makes a little sense for today. And then this 35 color, let's show you that. This ended up being a real frosty pink. It was called like Smoky Rose. I thought it was going to be darker. I didn't think it was going to be a frosty shade, but here we are. So we're going to work with this one. Let's just go with it. I know it's gonna have some shimmer, but it's not too bad. It's not like looking super dry on the lips. It's just your real classic basic cream lipstick, you know? I remember back in the day they used to tout the fact that continuous color lipstick, like you could press your lips together and refresh your lipstick and wear it for hours longer. I'm sorry, but I don't think there's anything real fancy about this stuff, but that shade will work for me today. I'll go with that. I won't even mess with it. The Great Lash is still drying, and I'm a little upset that I got a mascara smudge like right in by my lash line, and I couldn't really get rid of it. So I'm thinking about taking some more of this, that darkest shade, and just kind of creating an even thicker eyeliner basically to help camouflage the smudge. It may not even show once the lashes are there, but I don't know if you can see what I'm doing. I'm just giving myself a little bit more of a thick line. I'll do it over here too. Sometimes the mistakes just become part of the look. I will say I have far fewer mascara like smudgy mistakes if I'm using a mirror and I'm holding it down here and I'm really looking up this way. When you have the mistakes is when you're looking head on, and then that's when you tap your eyelid, or you know, you try to get in there a little too hard and you hit something. I used these lashes recently in a video and the look wasn't all out the worst. Oh wow, those went on quick. And not too bad. The thing about these lashes is there's a little bit of a jump off, you know, from the length here. And I think that's more apparent than if you just had the one that you glued on, because you've got 2. And so that added thickness can make that jump off from the false lash to your lashes, especially if your lashes don't look all that thick on their own. It can make it look a little more apparent, but I think they have a style of these now that is even more tapered in, and I've placed an order for those. I'm just trying to kind of get away from using tons and tons of glue on my lash line because I can be kind of sensitive to it still at times. Oh wow. That went on pretty easy too, but I feel like it's, oh yeah, it's hanging in a big way. We couldn't have had 2 easy go-rounds with this, right? I kind of placed the top one a little bit higher, so as the magnet pulls everything down, then it should be right at the lash line when that happens. That's the goal anyway. Did I do it? It just doesn't look right. This eye is just being terrible. Thank God for editing. Did I really get the other side on the first try? Because this is ridiculous. Oh my gosh. Okay, that was way too hard, but I think that's as good as it's gonna get. I got them on there. But this is sort of my recreation of a glam look using products that really nobody talks about, products that have been around like a super duper long time. I'm feeling like already the skin, I'm seeing more texture than I expected I would. Like it was looking so good when I started, and I didn't really notice this effect like yesterday when I finished my look. I thought it was looking okay, but like I can already see just a little patchiness on the nose, for example. Like I already feel the need to touch up with a little bit of loose powder. And the CoverGirl Clean Foundation, I wouldn't say it wore flawlessly on me yesterday. It wasn't the worst ever, but it didn't look like impeccable at the end of the day by any means. But with that one, it's just like, it's really hard to overcome the smell. The concealer, again, I think you can really do better in terms of stick concealers in the drugstore these days. I do kind of like the Maybelline Shine Free Powder. I don't really think there's anything wrong with it. I think this Physicians Formula bronzer is actually really nice. You know how I feel about CoverGirl Instant Cheekbones. If you can snag that, it's really great. This lipstick from CoverGirl, I mean, if you're into this shade, if you like a little shimmer, this 770 color, is not bad. I think the frost in it can work because the shade is not too light. If it's super light and frosty, kind of like the pink was, it can be a little less like wearable feeling. But this shade is kind of toasty. It's got a little richness to it. I like that for fall. And this Natural Smoke Squad, I mean, what a throwback. I remember these getting worn by me a lot in the past. I don't love this quad because I feel like if you want to set up your crease with something, you know, everything's really dark. This taupey shade is not super pigmented at all. That's why, I mean, I didn't really work it into this look. It's either like really dark or really light, so I don't think it's the most user-friendly stuff out there, and I think you could definitely find like dark warm brown and dark matte brown probably within a lot of palettes you already own, so I'm not really loving that so much, and really, I am still not a fan of Maybelline's Great Lash Mascara. But it was fun to try and go there with some of the techniques and like the style of application that I like with a lot of different products and trying to work it in with these. You know, the look, it'll get me through the day. I don't really mind how it all came out. This lash still may not be perfect, but it's as close as I'm gonna get. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you again in my next video. Bye.